Here we go. It is my pleasure today to introduce our Toastmaster of the day. I am Sandra Balks, and I'm your Zoom, so I'm not sure what I am. I'm your entertainment for today.
Sergeant at Arms and Zoom Master.
Sergeant at Arms, and so that's who I am, and I'll get my background changed in a second. So guess I've introduced myself, and I'm really happy for everyone's patience and understanding, and wait till you have a turn to do this. It's a great learning experience. Our club mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience, thank goodness, in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership Speak is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has the virtual hand raised, thank you, Hannah, so we can all immediately see who is keeping the time. Our Toastmaster of the day, who will lead our meeting, is Ejura, and she is the program manager and fashion enthusiast with a keen love for life, learning, and self-development. She's a great writer and an extraordinary planner and organizer. She is a confidence coach and loves to uplift people and spur them into a happy, more fulfilled life. Past president of the ASO Rockstars Toastmasters Club. Hey, Ejura, the floor is yours.
Hi, Sandra. Thank you so much. Good afternoon and warm greetings from the serene city of Abuja in Nigeria. I'm Toastmaster Ejura, happy to serve as Toastmaster of the day at Leadership Speak. It's my very first time and I'm super, super excited. Our theme for today's meeting is sharpen your focus. I'll go right into it. Focus is one of the values I've imbibed as I've grown and learned, gone through obstacles and gone through challenges in life. I've learned over the years to imbibe the value, my own personal value of focus. And I found out that it has helped me to be more efficient, be more productive. And it has led to a sense of pride and achievement, a sense of clarity, and a sense of purpose. And I'm hoping that when I share tips with everyone here, particularly our guests, we will get to imbibe the tips on how to sharpen our focus just so that we can be more productive and efficient. And along the way, I'll be asking questions to test who has been listening to the tips I've been given. Now, at this point, I would like to call on Leah to raise the toast. Leah, if you're there, the virtual lectern is yours. Please raise the toast for today's meeting.
Good day, and thank you all for the opportunity of doing the toast today. I hope you all have your glass with whatever liquid of choice that you may want to use. So George Lucas, the famous American movie director, once said, "Always remember, your focus determines your reality." As Toastmasters, when we start off our journeys, we have various visions and goals of what we want to achieve. But after a while, distractions may come through that may cause us to lose focus. I hope that today may be a rebirth, or maybe you will be refreshed to want to keep on striving to achieve your own visions and goals. Please raise your glass to sharpening our focus. To sharpening our focus.
Sharpening our
focus with Acuity.
Sharpening our focus.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Ejura.
Thank you so much, Leah, for that wonderful, wonderful toast. That was quite powerful. Sharpening our focus, sharpening our ability to concentrate on a task, a goal, a project, or a mission. That is exactly what focus is. So now we'll be moving on to our grammarian for the day, Aswathi. Can you please introduce us to the word of the day and describe your role for us?
Sure. Thank you so much, Madam Toastmasters. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, as grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. And I'll take note of any misuses of English language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And for today's meeting, the word of the day is acuity. You can see here in my background, acuity, which means sharpness or keenness of thought, vision, or hearing. An example of using the word is, intellectual acuity is an important trait for all leaders. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day, and I will give a word of the day report and also the grammatical usage report when called upon towards the end during the meeting. And thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, our grammarian Aswathi. Acuity, thank you so much for that word. Now we'll be moving on to the role of a timer played by Anna. Anna, please tell us about your role for today.
Certainly, Madam Toastmaster. Speeches have to be timed, definitely. Otherwise, we go on long. I see Kenneth has got our leadership speaker's got a 20-minute one. Is it okay? 15, 18, and 20? And then Muhammad has got a speech for 10 minutes. I'll time you at 8, 9, and 10. And Marianna's got a 5 to 7 minute speech. And then a 13-minute question and answer. For that, I'll take you 10, 12, and 13. And the others are all 5, 6, and 7. And the evaluators are 2, 2.5, and 3 minutes. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Hannah, for that descriptive role. Now I'll be calling on the first speaker for today, our leadership ed speaker. But before I do that, I'll be calling on his evaluator in the person of Nikita. Nikita, if you're there, kindly share with us the speech objectives for our first speaker.
Yes,
Nikita?
I'm here. Sorry. Unfortunately, I can't put on my video right now. Our first speaker will be delivering a speech titled
Speech title is Sharpen Your Focus. This is Ray Rivero.
Nikita, are you there? It seems you've been caught up.
Oh, can you hear me?
Okay, now we can. Yes, please go on.
All right, great. So our speaker will be delivering a 20-minute speech titled Sharpen Your Focus. And the project objective is to apply feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. So yes, I believe this is the first speech, perhaps of the feedback project. And yes, the speaker would like me to focus on presentation and organization of his speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nikita. Our first speaker is Kenneth Kajjora. He's from Uganda in East Africa, and he loves to connect with people he meets in Toastmasters through leadership. With a speech title, Sharpen Your Focus, please welcome Kenneth Kajjora. Kenneth, the virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ejura. Randomly project my slides.
Done.
Good morning, Toastmasters, wherever you are. Sharpen your focus. Sharpen your focus. Let's start today's discussion with some interaction in the Zoom chat. My chat master today is Sandra Valls for your help sharing some of the chat input today. Participants, please answer the question in the Zoom chat. We shall start with our first question. What is to sharpen your focus as a leader? What is to sharpen your focus as a leader? Kindly put masters. One day, my mentor, Sunshine, told me, Kenneth, for now, let us focus on meeting goals. I encourage you to constantly be on that stage if you are to get value out of your membership fees. My first meeting goal project was an accountant. During that meeting, I assured members that today I'll be your accountant. I will pay close attention to my role as an accountant, and I'll be back to give my report on fill awards, post fill, and so on. Later, I was called upon to give my report. This is an arm. When I was called upon, I proceeded to deliver my report. That was, as I delivered this report, I started with a record. The meeting went so well. There were no ahs and ums. And quickly, I thought I had winged it. My satisfaction was short-lived. After that meeting, the club president took me aside and shared her list of ahs and encouraged me to do the role again. What did I learn from that lesson? In the next meetings, I challenged myself as accountant, and today I take time to prepare, practice, and pay close attention. Chat master, Sandra.
Yes.
What does sharpening a leader mean to our participants? Kindly
Well,
share.
these are
those
beautiful. Brahm says to focus on a few things rather than busy doing everything. Also focus on priority and important matters. Here we've got to sharpen my focus means to remain aiming at the goals you set as a leader. To streamline your impact, be clear about the vision and work towards it. Focus on smaller tasks to reach the bigger ones. And here's a long one. Follow one course. That's the focus. Follow one course till successful. Overcome challenges with unwavering determination. Concentrate on the task at hand. Utilize your strength and skills and stay committed to your goals. Wow. Stay on track and avoid distractions, becoming better, noticing things, and clear focus on the vision. You've got good activity going.
Thank you, Sandra. Our next slide, Ray. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sandra. Let's look at what we are focusing. Let's look at next slide. Next slide, Sandra. Next slide, Ray.
Ray.
Let's look at what is focusing. Focusing. What are we focusing on? What are we focusing on? Now that we know that focusing on, we must understand what the focus of a leader is without looking at the definition on your smartphones or computers. How would you personally define the focus of a leader? Kindly put it in chat. Type your personal statement in the chat. Let them flow, let them flow. Ray, continue. To me, the focus of a leader is leadership, which requires Acuity to guide change, the vision to guide change. And as leaders, we are more concerned with thinking ahead and seizing opportunities. My chat master, what suggestions have our participants shared in the chat? Kindly share them.
I sure can. A focused leader guides me in the right direction. Another is staying on course of what you have started until the end. That's it for right now. Focused
Okay.
leaders can empathize.
Okay.
The leader's focus is on achieving a specific goal or vision for their organization or team and focusing on results while still taking care of the team members and stakeholders. Focused
Right.
leadership have vision and direction.
Very good.
I think
That's
you may want to
wonderful.
save this chat afterwards because these are great.
Okay. So when you focus on something, do you concentrate on it? I believe we should stay focused on our goals and tasks. We should mind on one thing to cultivate a triad of awareness. When we speak about being focused, we commonly mean thinking about one thing while filtering out distractions. In April 2020, when I joined Toastmaster, I focused on connecting with people as a strategy for my growth. When I decided to take up leadership roles, I started connecting with people. I learned to focus on my own attention, which is connecting me with a number of networks. What are you focusing on? When I ask you, what are you focusing on? Ray, let's go to the next slide. Now that we have known focusing on as a leader, let us understand and identify the definition from the dictionary. What is focus? Focus originates from the Latin word meaning here, the flow of fireplace. The word focus first came into use in the 17th century. It had a meaning then that it is still carries in English today. Focus is a point of concentration, direct attention, or emphasis. Ray, continue. Why sharpen your focus? Next slide, Ray. Why sharpen your focus? Please share why you think sharpening your focus is important. Kindly put it in the chat. Why is it important? Why is it important? As a leader, the first task of leadership is to direct attention. Direct attention. And to do so, all leaders must learn to focus their own attention, concentrating on the primary task that can be useful as a skill in the personal and professional environments. The ability to focus helps us to increase the productivity while also creating deeper and more meaningful connections with people in our life.
Oh, you called me.
As for me, our leadership focus in this Toastmasters journey is even more important because all of us grow and the quality of results is exhibited. Chatmaster Sandra, kindly share why is sharpening your focus important to our participants?
I'm glad to do so. To stay on course is the first one. It keeps leaders and you on the right track. Significant impact on our productivity, effectiveness, and overall success. When you are not focused, you're unlikely to be productive. Stay on track and avoid distractions. If we focus on strengths rather than our weaknesses, we can progress faster. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. We can sharpen our focus in this club. Ask yourself, what is the focus in this club? I normally see Bram encouraging us. We are self-directed leaders. The club leadership speak is focusing on self-directed leaders. What is your focus as a leader in leadership speak? Leaders need strength in 3 areas of focus. 1, Ray, next slide. Ray, next slide. 1 is self, the inner. 2, people, those around you. And 3, the system or the outer acuity or awareness. The inner focus attunes us to our emotions and intuitions, guiding values and better decisions. This relates to someone's ability to connect to their innate abilities and self-management skills. Let's go to the next slide. The outer focus also relates to the ability to perceive and understand the greater forces that influence the worldview and reality. If you are interested in harnessing your out focus, consider having conversations with people that differ from you, including individuals or who work from different entities with different interests and alternative worldviews. By widening your perspective and scope of information. The other one is the other focus, where you pertain to your understanding and relationship towards other people. This concept refers to your ability to empathize and attune to other people's thoughts and feelings and experiences. Doing this practice can help you cultivate the deeper and more meaningful connections in both personal and professional environments. Now that we know why, let us look at the tips that enhance focus. Next slide, Ray. Of what impact would we gain from focus? Number 1, next, increasing creativity. To increase creativity improves your ability to concentrate and become more creative, innovative, externally and may no longer distract you instead of paying attention to your personal intrusion and unique ideas. The other one is enhancing rationality and communication. The ability to focus may improve your interpersonal communication skills, as it can allow you to respond thoughtfully rather than react based purely on your emotion. When you are distracted, you may be more likely to speak without thinking, whereas concentration can enable you to feel confident in what you say. Improving connection and relationships. When you are less distracted, you may be able to be more compassionate, empathetic, and present with the people in your life. This leads to deeper and more meaningful connection, and it may influence others to perceive you as someone who cares about others' thoughts and feelings and perspectives. Ray, next slide. Now let us look at how do we improve focus? How do we improve focus? One, practice awareness. Practice awareness. The mindfulness practices, such as meditation, can help you harness your ability to be more aware of what you are thinking and saying and doing. Being aware of your thoughts and the actions can also help you realize how your behaviors may affect others. Encourage you to notice the consequences of your actions. 2, be present with others. After dedicating your energy to your personal awareness, you can shift your attention to remaining present and engaged with all those around you. Concentrating on others when you spend time or converse with them can help you develop the sense of empathy and compassion. And active listening does not only involve paying attention to one another, but also noticing the body language and gestures or non-verbal gestures. Next, allow yourself take breaks. Taking breaks gives you the ability to focus and have empathy and consideration for yourself. This gives you time within your schedule to take breaks and avoid being overwhelmed. Number four, avoid multitasking. As your mind may only be able to concentrate on one task or conversation at a time. So rather than handling your duties all at once by multitasking, you may just be switching from one task to another quickly without a chance to rest and refocus. So it is important to avoid multitasking. 5, select something or someone to contemplate. As an activity you can complete enhance your focus involves selecting a person, say Brahm, or anything that you admire and contemplating. If your focus is on a person, choose someone you admire or respect and think about their good qualities and what you like about them. And this will improve your focus. Next slide, Fred. The groupings of these modes of attention, the ones I've mentioned, into 3 broad buckets. Focusing yourself, focusing on others, and focusing on the wider world view, shades of a new practice of many essential leadership skills. And that is said by Daniel Goleman. Next slide, Ray. Next slide. My gratitude now. I will talk about gratitude. The gratitude is an exercise that provides skills to minimize distraction and develop a greater sense of focus and awareness. My golden gratitude today goes to Sandra Vaults Andre for being my chat master today. Also, my sincere appreciation and gratitude to Bram, who connected me to these noble leaders whom I have connected as I focus on my leadership role. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for that presentation. It was extremely rich and highly interactive. Well done. Thank you so much. Next, I'll quickly call on Roxy Rana, who will be giving us our election chair report. Roxy, if you're there, the lectern is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Dear Leadership Speak members, at the beginning of April 2023, our club began searching for candidates for the club officers for the 2023-2024 term, and I was honored to have been appointed the chair for the exercise. Members were given until 28th of April to express their interest in becoming a candidate. Each member who expressed interest was contacted to confirm their intent to run for a club officer position, as well as to affirm their willingness to uphold the duties of their position if elected. So today it is my pleasure to recommend the following candidates for each of the offices. Where there's more than one candidate, they will be read out in alphabetical order by last name. For club president, I have 2 candidates, Marianna Burka, Mohammed Asif Syed. For vice president education, 1 candidate, DTM Brahm Memon. For vice president membership, 1 candidate, DTM Hannah Schmidt. For Vice President Public Relations, 1 candidate, Toastmaster Ashwati Rajan. For Secretary, for the position of Secretary, I have 2 candidates, Francoise Bowen and DTM Nina John. For Club Treasurer, 1 candidate, Mrinal Kanti Ghosh. For Sergeant at Arms, I have 2 candidates, Toastmaster Ashwini Arondkar and Toastmaster Paramjit Singh. I believe that each of these candidates has demonstrated acuity and is capable of fulfilling the duties of their role if elected, and formally hereby nominate each one of these candidates for office. I also would like to confirm that all the candidates are now free to contact other members to solicit their votes. The elections will be held on 6th May 2023. And that concludes my report. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Roxy, and congratulations to all of the nominees and all the best in the upcoming elections. Quickly, I'll be moving on to our prepared speeches. And for our first speaker, I would like to call on Ram to give us an overview of what to expect from our first speaker. Ram, if you are there, the virtual lecture is yours. Please tell us the speech objectives for our first speaker.
Toastmaster of the Day, Ejura, and the Premier Club for Self-Directed Leaders. First and foremost, our first speaker, Mohammed, will be speaking from the Visionary Communication Path, Level 3, for speech. The project, develop a communication plan. The speaker is to present a speech about the experience of developing a communication plan for an event or situation and speak about the planning process or processes, the benefits of developing a plan or an impact as the plan if implemented. There weren't any requests for specificity, so there wouldn't be anything specific that I'll be looking at for. Returning the virtual lantern to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Ejura.
Thank you so much. Our first speaker is a mechanical engineer by profession and a Toastmaster by passion. With a speech title, Make It or Break It, please welcome Mohammed Azimuddin. Make it or break it, Mohammed Azimuddin. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. My slides are visible?
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Last year, my family was looking for a boy for the matrimony of my daughter. So we got him. We believe in arranged marriage. So two families came together. The first meeting was successful. The second meeting was successful. For the third meeting, I invited the boy himself to come and see me in downtown Toronto. When I met him, I discovered some anomalies in him. I came back to my family, I informed them. My daughter refused. And my family also decided not to go forward with this one. So next day, I called the father of the boy. But let me tell you one thing more. Last year, I interviewed for jobs 3 different organizations. And I received from 2 organizations the email from the HR with the same communication plan. Hi, Mohammed. Thank you for your interest. Our selection criteria is very tough. We regret to inform you that we are moving forward with some other candidate. That hurt me. But I used the same communication plan to communicate to this gentleman. And I realized that I hurt him. The mixed voice of sadness and grief. He asked me, why? And then I candidly explained what I observed. And that completely broke him. He disconnected and blocked my number. The fellow Toastmasters happens when we think that we don't have anything to lose. And then we go a shortcut way to communicate our core message in a very clumsy way. Next day was Sunday morning. I received a call from my mother-in-law from back home country. And she started scolding me, rather evaluating me. Azim, what you have done? How you communicated to these people? You are the head of the family. You are the leader of your family. Do you think that you serve the purpose of a leadership of your family? How can it be? And then I realized, yes, I did something wrong. I didn't communicate it in the way that a leader of a family should communicate. And that as a self-directed learners and leaders, it was very important for me to communicate in the way that a leader communicates. And that I said, thank you, mother-in-law. You made me realize that I should learn some techniques of communication. So the best way to communicate is to focus, sharpen your focus on communicating as a passionate communicator. And your communication passes through 4 elements. One is the observation. You must observe the person to whom you are communicating, the environment, and the situation. You must be aware of the person you are communicating. And then you feel in the shoes of the person you are communicating. And then you identify the needs of communication for this person and address their needs. And the last is communicate when you are requested. So your attitude governs your communication. Whatever you are, what are your mentality, your attitude, it is reflected in your core message that you convey to others. So let me take this example. One person, he is expressing his feelings, and the responder is responding on his feeling. And the responder always follows his attitude in his communication. Take this example. The person says, my life is a mess. I can't do anything right. And take this example that how the respondent is responding. The respondent is judgmental. He judged the person that this person is having a negative attitude. And so he says, you really should have more positive attitude. This is not addressing the need of that person. And this is also not having a feelings of the person. So the second is the analysis. The person says, my life is a mess. I can't do anything right. And the responder says, the reason your life is a mess is that your parents never made you take responsibility for your actions when you were a kid. This was not the need of that communication that the person has expressed his feelings. It is not the compassionate communication. And then reassurance. The person says, my life is a mess. I can't do anything right. And the responder says, don't worry, you will be okay. Now see how positive message is coming from this core message of the responder. It has a positivity. It has the power to heal the person. And that's actually the compassionate communication. And here is the respondent is opening the dialogues with the person. Here is the advice. The person says, my life is a mess. I can't do anything, right? And the respondent says, why don't you take some education to do your job better? This response is not addressing the needs of the person. The person needs to be felt, to be understood. Interrogating. Some people are having this habit. My life is a mess. I can't do anything right. And the responder says, how long have you felt this way? It is just like he is the psychiatrist or some doctor, and he wants to identify the disease of this person and going to write a prescription to take medicine. This is not the way. And this is storytelling. Some people have this habit. So when the person says, my life is a mess, I can't do anything right. And the respondent said, that reminds me of what your brother told me once. And then he starts a story and goes in some other direction without addressing the needs and requirement of that person. The person needs to be understood. Here is the educating habit of the people, of the respondent. So my life is a mess. I can't do anything right. This person said, and the responder said, you can't expect too much of yourself because of your condition. So he is addressing to improve his condition. Still, he is missing the understanding part of with the person. Take another thing. The one-upping. This is also some habit of responder. And the person said, my life is a mess. I can't do anything right. And then responder said, you think you feel bad? I was suicidal for years. The respondent had a similar experience of the similar situation, but now he is skipping out understanding of the person. And he is just adding his own experience here. And that consoling, I like this because this is somehow compassionate communication. And the responder says, it's not your fault. You do the best that you can. And from this communication, the person is feeling some extra energy in him. And he thinks that he is understood. And here the responder can help him to improve his condition. And that, now see this. The person says, my life is a mess. I can't do anything right. And the responder says, don't worry about it. Cheer it up. So this is just shutting down the situation. So fellow self-paced learning and self-directed leaders, we should sharpen our focus on the best and compassionate communication in order to be able to become a self-directed leaders. Here are the 10 different styles of your communication and expressing your core message. You can plan your communication based on that, what you think should be the compassionate communication. You can make it or break it, the choice is yours. Over to Master of Ceremony.
Thank you so much, Mohammed, for that awesome speech. Make it or break it. Such great storytelling. Thank you so much for that. Now I'll be calling on our next evaluator to give us the speech objectives for our second speaker. Bindhu Joseph, if you're there, can we hear the speech objectives for our next speaker? Bindhu?
Thank you, Madam Toastmistress. Marianna will be giving the next speech, and it is a 15 to 20-minute project Q&A session. She's doing an elective level 4 of her path, Persuasive Influence. And as a part of this speech, the project requires the member to facilitate a Q&A session. So first she will give us a well-informed speech, followed by which she will have to direct the Q&A session and also carefully manage the time. Specific requirements, Marianna has asked us to concentrate on how well she manages the Q&A part or component of her project. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Bindhu. Our next speaker has set her eyes on her DTM designation this year. Now that is a goal. She's a passionate wellness advocate who believes that proper nutrition is the best preventive medicine. Please welcome Marianna with her speech title, Nourishing or Counseling. Nourishing or Counseling, Marianna Burke. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Nourishing or counseling? That is the question. And I believe, I love numbers. And I believe that the easiest way to get to facts through numbers. And I want to share a couple of those numbers with you today. Regarding mental health. And we already heard about just today before me about stress and how we handle mental issues. And any number I shared today was comprised by the World Health Organization. And they say 1 in 4 people globally will get some kind of mental illness during their lifetime. Just think about it. That is about 2 billion people. That is a lot of mental illness going on. If you in an average family of 4, one of you in your family will have mental disorder. Every year, 800,000 people commit suicide. And the second leading cause of death between age 15 to 34 is suicide. Not COVID, not infection, not diabetes, suicide, which is fully preventable. We lose, as a society, $1 trillion productivity because of mental illness. That's something worth to watch out for. Imagine, what could we do with $1 trillion if it goes into good use? And the sad thing is, all these numbers only show people who actually seek for help, because we still know that mental illness has this stigma around it. So many people just suffer quietly. And not just that, but small economical countries, medium economical countries, can't afford to treat 80% of their patient who has mental disorders. So I can say that we have a mental health epidemic, and we have to do something. And we can, and that's a good thing, that we can deal with our brain, ourselves. Besides numbers, I do like good old-fashioned wisdom, like you are what you eat. I bet you heard this before. And there is a reason for that, because what you're eating affects the body. And we all know that. We all accepted that. But when we go to a mental health professional, we have usually 2 options to go by treatment. One of them is they will put us in medication. And it may or may not work. I cannot argue with that. Definitely not today. But medications always have side effects. The other option for treating mental health issues is CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Sounds good. Basically, let's talk it out. And it's important, we have to talk. But it might take months, if not years, to find the root cause of our depression. And nobody really talks about my favorite topic, diet. And we know, I already talked about this, diet is not just a food you eat. Diet literally means the way of living. And in my book, diet means what you do every time. Do it every time. Because what matters, what you do regularly, not what you do once in a while. And what we do, what we have to do for a good diet, we have to exercise, we have to sleep. Now we realize that for mental health, sleep is one of the most important things. And we have to be able to handle our stress. We have to relax. And fellow leaders, our body, 75% of water, but our brain, 80% of water. So drink, drink, and drink. And let's get to the food part, because food makes a big difference. And not just for our general health, but to our brain, because our brain is connected to our gut, where we put our food. We all had the feeling or the experience when we're scared of something, we have this big stone in our stomach. Or when you have to do a presentation and you're really nervous, you thinking about it, how stressed you are, and you have to go to the bathroom 2-3 times before your presentation because your brain connected to your gut. But that is a two-way street. It's not just your brain can affect what's going down here, but what you put in down here affects how your brain is working. Because you are what they ate. And now you think about it, who are they? Well, they are your bugs, your microbiome, bacteria and yeast. We all have them and we need them. Actually, we need them strong and big numbers. In the 70s, scientists said that every human cell is outnumbered 10 times by bacteria. Now, in 2020, they say, no, they made a mistake in the 70s and it's only 1-to-1. But I wonder, was a counting mistake or our health went down so low that we killed most of our bacteria already? What we need is a diverse and strong microbiome, strong gut. And how can we get that? Good news, same as we take care of our body. Exercise, sleep, relaxation, water, oh my, and food. And gut health, 2 specific things. We need probiotic to populate our gut with good bacteria, and then we need fiber to feed them, to keep them strong. So probiotics is anything that's fermented. And in idea, you can ferment anything. One of my favorites are kefir, sauerkraut, apple cider vinegar. And these I make myself at home, and so can you. And if you eat enough bacteria, now all you need is fiber to feed them, because fiber your body cannot use. Those are food for your bacteria to make you stronger. And there is only one rule about that. Eat a wide variety so you can feed all your 2,000 different bacteria in your gut with some of those food you're eating. Is there any question regarding this topic?
I have a question.
Yes.
I wanted to find out from the research that you did, did it actually specify, or maybe you can advise why there is an increase in depression? Because you said at the beginning, you said 1 in 4. That's the first part of my question. And then the second part of my question, because you also told us the age group that seems to be suffering the most from depression, would social media have a huge impact or correlation why there is such an increase in depression in that particular age group? Thank you.
Yes, in short, I'm quite sure I'm not a professional in social media, but they must have an effect on individual mental health. And regarding mental health and connection gut-brain, well, our gut prepares or make most of our happy hormones, as we call them, the serotonin and dopamine. But your gut only can make that if you eat the right food. Is that answers your question, or did I miss anything that part of your question? There was multiple parts of your question.
Apologies for providing multiple questions. Well, the first part I was just asking though why there is an increase in people suffering from depression, i.e. leading to people having mental health.
Well,
why?
My personal belief is because our diet is off, way off. We eat too much sugar, and we know sugar kills good bacteria and feeds the bad one. So the ratio in our gut is kind of out of whack. And if we don't eat the right food, we cannot make these happy hormones or neurotransmitters, then we won't have balanced mental health. And that contributes to depression, definitely. And unfortunately, we don't feed our children very well. So while, I don't know, 50 years ago, depression was an adult problem, now 1 over 4 kids in Canada has some kind of mental issue, and that usually depression or anxiety. Thank you for your question.
AJ has her hand up.
Yes, AJ.
Good morning, and thank you for a great presentation on these 2 connections. I have a friend that is going through the first stages of chemotherapy, and my reading indicates that depression and the fact that chemo is heavily attacking the gut as it goes through. What are your thoughts as to whether or not some of the depression that you see rising is connected with some of the advancing hits of cancer and chemotherapy? And what diet? So 2 parts. Is cancer, increased cancer, connected to increased depression? And 2, how do you get the happy hormone if you're bombing your gut with chemotherapy?
Thank
Marianna,
you.
can I just add from the chat, Nina John has asked, is there a specific diet? I'm thinking you can combine those 2 questions in the diet.
Let me, thank you. So when, if anybody gets cancer, that's almost a given that it comes with depression, because it's hard to stay focused if you have such a significant illness. But that said, the treatment itself, we know chemotherapy is to kill cancer cells, but chemotherapy also kills many other things, including our gut bacteria. That's a given. So it's automatically come with a dysfunction, the balancing of your health, gut bacteria. So the best solution, and that's the beauty about nutrition and what food we eat, that you have to increase the diet. You have to be very specific, especially if you have somebody has cancer. It's important to concentrate on cutting out all the sugar, cutting out all the processed food, and replacing it with natural food, fruits, vegetables, and nuts and seeds, to be healthy and to keep our gut healthy, because replenishing but the chemotherapy kills. That's a very important part. And usually who gets chemotherapy heals faster with less side effect if they have a well-balanced natural diet. Thank you for your question, AJ.
Manju has her hand up.
Manju?
Yes, I have put the question in my chat, in the chat window, chemicals, pesticides.
Can you speak up,
pollutants in the
Manju?
air.
I'm having trouble hearing. A little louder.
Chemicals, pesticides, pollutants in the air, water, soil, can they also be causative factors or maybe factors that aggravate depression?
Absolutely, because these chemicals were, most of them never been tested on humans, the effect on humans. And even those that were tested on humans, but they were never tested together, because it's not just that we got one chemical. We get chemical from our fruit if it's not organic. We get chemical from our soap or the clothes we're wearing, or when we go outside and we have the electromagnetic pollution. So these are all together attacking us every time. And maybe that is the reason, and not miscounting, that in the 70s, we had 1:10 ratio, human body cell and microbiome or bacteria in our body. And now it's
You're muted,
Marianna, you're
Marianna.
mute.
You're muted, Marianna.
Manju, so all of these pollutant, the best what we can do within ourselves is the food we put in our body. And it's all the more important to concentrate on gut health, because if we don't have a healthy gut, we don't have anything. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much. And I like the line where you said, we are what they eat. I love that.
We have to feed them. We have to feed them well. Any other question?
I have one question. When my son had cancer and he was doing the chemo, it seems to me they were feeding him an awful lot of sugar in the supplements, you know, like here's a chocolate bar, or something to raise your energy. And it just set me crazy. Are those drinks that they kind of ensure, are they not also a lot of sugar? I mean, what do you do to clean that out while you're even going through the chemo?
Well, I am sorry about hearing your son. And that is kind of a sad part of the medical system, that when you take your child to a hospital, they give them a lollipop. Even though we all know that sugar is not good. When my children get even a cold, the first thing, no sweets for you for a week, because we have to get rid of the sugar. A good thing about our medical community, that they don't really care if somebody's in chemotherapy, that's what they eat. They don't have restriction. They usually take, oh, you eat whatever you want. So now it's within you. It's your responsibility to decide if you want to give a cancer patient sugary water, sugary drinks, like Ensure, or concentrate on real food, clear water, and fresh vegetable, preferably organic, and eat that, because we do know that those people who eat that way have less side effect and more effective chemotherapy.
Is there a way that a campaign could be, it's a shame that it would have to be a campaign, but somehow or other, those people who are giving the chemo, I understand the chemo is usually going to be important if we're at a certain stage to turn it around in a hurry, but how do we get the chemo people, the doctors, educated to bring nutrition together with that and clean out the poison as they're putting it in, neutralize it?
No, unfortunately, you have to do it individually or little groups like ours, because the central dogma is that food has no effect on our health. So anything that they cannot use to medicate you, I cannot say that vitamin C will heal you, because I can go to prison for that. That is how the system built up. Unfortunately, even doctors, they cannot say certain things. And that is now politics, which is not for today. And thank you very much for your questions. And maybe we can talk after the meeting. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Marianna, for that highly informative speech. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are what you eat. I'll quickly move on now to the evaluator for the third speaker, and that would be Vivian Robinson. Vivian, please let us hear the speech objectives for our third speaker.
Thank you. I will be doing the evaluation for Jennifer, and her purpose for this speech is to introduce herself. This is the icebreaker. She's to introduce herself to the club, and then also it helps her to learn basic structure in public speaking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vivian. Our next speaker is a self-starter who is always working towards achieving the next milestone. Please welcome Jennifer Ghosh with her speech title, Baby Boomer. Baby Boomer, Jennifer Ghosh. You have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Fellow leaders, Madam Toastmaster, good day. It was a dark, stormy night. Thunder and lightning and heavy rain crashed down from the heavens above. In a dimly lit room lay a slim, beautiful woman, moaning and groaning in pain, in severe pain. Her swollen belly and shrill screams were indicators to the act of giving birth. Yes, dear fellows, I was a home baby, a birth which was carried out in a non-clinical environment using traditional and natural childbirth methods. Soon thereafter, the midwife smilingly held out a crying baby in her most capable arms. Herein enters the little one, later baptized as Jennifer. Jennifer means fair one or white wave. I was born on the 12th of July in the late 50s. As you may know, that period between 1945 and 1964 was considered as the baby boomer generation. Baby boomers got its name from the boom of babies that were born during the end of World War II. Babies born during this time or this period were approximately 50% more than the average rate. My zodiac sign is Cancer and is believed to come with traits of being pessimistic, creative, spontaneous, as well as loyal. My birthstone happens to be ruby, which ranges in color from blood red to flirty pink. Ruby radiates energy and beauty and increases creativity, self-confidence in the wearer's life. As per Indian astrology, the ruby depicts the navel chakra of the human body and helps in removing fear and depression. Yes, Marianna just talked about depression. As a toddler, I was very inquisitive and curious. As a student, a naughty tomboy, average in studies with a flair and passion for sports. I loved basketball. I also adored dancing and was pretty good at shaking a leg. My mother, seeing my passion and my moves, started me on lessons of classical form of Indian dance called Kathak. I was just 5 years old when I started my training. For those who do not know what type of dance form this is, let me brief you about this. The word Kathak is derived from the word Katha, which means stories. These stories were largely based on episodes from the epics, myths, and legends. This probably started as an oral tradition to include mime, gestures, thus involved a simple form of expression, dance, which developed later into Kathak as we see it today. Due to financial constraints, I had to kickstart my working life at a very early age. When other kids were enjoying college, I had started my first job. A job switch led me to meet the love of my life, my husband, Ashish. We got married in the mid-80s and remained together till he was suddenly snatched away from me in a road accident in Mexico. Funny word, accident. Accident. I joined Tata Consultancy Services in 1991. TCS is where I evolved and grew into a better version of myself. I spent 30 long years with this organization in the human resource space. Acuity as a decision indeed. Paraphrasing our 2014 world champion, Dhananjaya Hettiarachchi, I see something in you. TCS too may have seen something in me. They gave me abundant opportunities to learn, grow, and shine. Here is where I met and fell in love for the second time with Toastmasters, of course, and the rest is history. As rightly said by Mohandas Gandhi, a small body of determined spirits fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission can alter the course of history. What do you think, Madam Toastmaster? Over to you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jennifer. That was a wonderful speech. I do see something in you. Well done. So next, I'll be calling on the evaluator for our fourth speaker, Manju Manohar. I hope I got that right. I apologize if I didn't. Manju, if you are there, let us hear the speech objectives for our fourth speaker.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. The speaker's name is Mary Cusin, and her speech title is Be Aware, Be Safe, Live Longer. This is the second time she's attempting this speech. The earlier speech was evaluated by Kenneth. The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. And also the purpose of the speech is to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The member would be attempting to deliver a well-organized speech which is clear and concise. We will be focusing on the member's speaking style. The speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. Timer, please take note. So Toastmaster Mary Cusin. Shall I give her title and call her, or shall I pass the control to you?
You can pass it back to me. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much. So back to the TMOD, Ejura. Thank you.
Absolutely. Mary Cusin is a medical secretary with a special equity for the timbre and rhythm of patients' voices. Please welcome her with her speech title, Be Aware, Be Safe, Live Longer. Marie Cusin, you've got the floor.
You're muted.
You're mute.
We are not able to hear you.
Hello, madam. My general practitioner has asked me to make an adjourned appointment with your angiologist today. I have a thrombosis. This close is my calf vein is giving me terrible pain. It is swollen. Oh, my skin is red. Luckily, I am on anticoagulation. As a medical secretary, every day I received a frightened call from a patient who thinks he's going to die soon. Sir, I understand your impatience. As all our emergency places are taken today, we will see you tomorrow morning at 11. Don't worry. You are protected because you are on anticoagulation. Can you give me your name and contact details? Whew. I am so relieved. Fellow Toastmaster and guests, do you know that you are the first actor of your health? Just being aware, safe, and you can live longer. As a patient, your collaboration with all professional and paraprofessional medical activity is essential. The next day, after his consultation, the patient leaves reassured and he has prescription with the drug protocol for his anticoagulant and the prescription for his super stockings. Medication can and do range from the exact localization with a very precise dosage, wearing compression stocking to help not have edema or the blood flow back to the heart. When the patient comes to me to register the following up of the post-thrombotic appointment, he said, "Tell me, madam, do I really have to wear this kind of socks?" Yes, sir. As the doctor certainly told you, they are a precious help to help the blood flow back to your head. And above all, follow the doctor's instruction for the best possible success of your treatment. And now, go to the orthopedic technician to take measurement of your leg in order to wear well and adapted measurement compression stockings. The journey of a patient begins as confused, scared, and hungry individual, and ends when the patient gets reassured by the doctor and reinforced by the medical assistant about the best course forward. Vein thrombosis affects many patients all over the world, especially people whose lifestyle is sedentary. Static position for a prolonged period of time, like standing,
or sitting for a long time. Symptoms of vein thrombosis are often redness, swelling, and pain. Redness, swelling, and pain. Left unattended, the consequences can be fatal. However, by being aware, being safe, and by taking the right treatment, patients can and do improve their life. The patient takes back control of his health by asking clear questions about his health condition, and then he will have full therapeutic adherence to recover his health. Toastmaster and guest. The human body is a miracle in motion. However, even miracles need care and cure. Therefore, the next time, whatever your illness, if you remain in control and act at the right time, in the right manner, you will be aware, safe, and of course, live longer. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you for that wonderful speech. It was highly, highly interesting to listen to. Thank you for that. Now we'll be moving on to the evaluator for our final speaker for today, Mrinal Kanti Ghosh. If you're there, kindly give us the speech objectives for our last speaker.
Thank you, Ejura, and good day, everyone. Our fifth speaker, Banasree, will be delivering speech from Pathway Motivational Strategies Level 1, Project 2, Evaluation and Feedback. The purpose of the project is the member to present speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. All the best to the speaker, and back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Ejura.
Thank you, Mrinal. Our final speaker for tonight has a passion for helping families with children with special needs. She's been a Toastmaster for 2.5 years, where she's learned the value of hard work, determination, and perseverance. Please welcome Toastmaster Banasree with her speech title, Do It Now. Do It Now, Banasree Banerjee. You have the floor.
Five weeks back, I knew I have to deliver a speech today. 5 days back, I knew I have to deliver a speech today. At 5 a.m. today, I knew I have to deliver a speech today. But I just couldn't get out of the bed. The blanket was very heavy for a change. Anyway, I knew I still had a lot of time to write the script for my speech today. 5 hours back, I knew I still have time to write the script for my speech today. But there were a couple of important messages which had to be replied. And I got onto that and replied to them. 50 minutes back, I knew my speech time is just over the corner and my script is still not ready. I wrote down the points of this speech and I sent it to my mentor for his perusal. That's it? Over? But he was so furious and he said, waiting for a video, script, and discussion, and you are sending me back few points today? Within 14 minutes, he returns back another message with lots of motivational words, which only a distinguished and an experienced Toastmaster can do it. I feel he's never happy with my efforts. It's just a mental case, you know. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. See, the subject is very serious. His behavior needs to change. I don't postpone. I don't like to give excuses, but it's the behavior of people that do it right now attitude that needs to change. I have seen actually many are suffering from this challenge. I'm not able to make them understand that the problem is not in me, but it's actually in them. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, I'm working on a detailed, impactful PPT. And I'm going to write down all the reasons why people suffer from this do it right now issues. And I'm also going to share my total research on various ways we can tackle these people. But you know what happened? I'm just not getting the time. And moreover, my hard disk also crashed. And that man, he always screams at me with Acuity for being late for movies at any time of the day. Suppose if the movie is at 9 and I start getting ready at around 7:45, I take a shower and I put some clear coat nails on my paints on my nails. He is behind me. And he gives me some weird reasons. He says, people can't even see if you put black paint on your face at a movie theater, and you're wasting your time putting clear coat on your nails. Why didn't you just take a box of popcorn, put your hands together, dip in, add maybe an extra dollop of butter, and that will do the job. Why are you wasting your time when we have to drive 25 kilometers and it is already 7:45? Ladies, I'm sure you can understand how important it is for us to be ready on time. He actually, he forgot that he had to buy the wedding ring 18 years back. And it was me who took out the hoops. Until date, it's on my finger, and I saved him. Why? Because he forgot, he delayed buying my ring. It happens. Not only that, I arranged for the proxies, the dummy proxies in the office of the court, the judges. He forgot even those. So it happens. He delayed, he suffered. But I'm not going to suffer by painting my nails. Yes, all he does is sits, throws stress at me, gives at me till 9 o'clock, and I get late. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have people who are always throwing stress at you, pushing you to put things on paper or work on time, let me know. I'm actually working on a detailed, impactful PPT to present it in front of you all. And I'm sure this time it will happen within 5 days. Maybe, perhaps, yeah, if I get the hard disk back. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Banasree, for that wonderful speech. Quite humorous. Thank you so much. Right, so at this point, I would ask our timer to, okay, thank you. She's done that already. How efficient. She is super, super focused. She has posted the timer's reports in our chat. Thank you so much, Hannah, for doing that. And soon enough, we'll be voting for the best speaker for today. While we're waiting for the polls to come up, I just want to comment on today's meeting so far. It's been exceptional. Yeah, there we go. So please vote for the best effort speaker. Please vote for the best effort speaker. And while we are waiting for the results, and before I call on our next speaker for the next segment of the meeting, I just want to thank you so much for staying focused on the meeting. Sitting still for 2.5 hours or 2 hours plus can't be easy, but I'm sure everyone here, from the interactions I saw today at the very first speech with, oh, we have our results already. Amazing. So we have a tie. It looks like we have a tie. Toastmaster Kenneth and our last speaker, Banasree. And then, of course, we have our second speaker, Marianna. So congratulations on our best effort speakers. Very well done to you all. Awesome speeches. So for someone says 2 weeks in a row, type for best speaker. Yes, absolutely. That's what happens when you belong to a club like this. So I just want to thank everyone so far for staying still, staying focused in this meeting. During the first speech given by Toastmaster Kenneth, he had shared lots of tips. It was a highly interactive session. And I saw in the chat, everybody giving wonderful responses. And it seemed as if some of you had read my notes. I was going to share tips on how to stay focused and sharpen your focus. And it was very heartwarming to see that everyone was on board with the idea of defining clear goals, avoiding distractions. This little thing here in our hand has so much power to distract us in our daily activities. So the important thing is to ensure that we try to avoid distractions so that we can focus on our work. And there's something so satisfying about starting something and finishing it. And so one of my favorite ways of staying focused is to spend time with yourself. Embrace the nothingness and embrace the boredom that comes with that sometimes. Some of us are afraid of staying with our thoughts, but that will also encourage creativity. And that's where new ideas come from. So at this point, I would like to invite our general evaluator for tonight's meeting in the person of Toastmaster Paramjit. If you're there, sir, you have the virtual lectern.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ejura. Good morning, everyone, fellow Toastmasters, and a warm welcome to our guests. Today, I am the General Evaluator and will be conducting the evaluation portion of the meeting. And we're calling on a team of experienced Toastmasters to assist in giving the feedback to our speakers, as well as I'll evaluate the meeting. To begin with our leadership speaker, education speech was delivered by Toastmaster Kenneth and will be evaluated by Toastmaster Nikita Winkler, who is an educator, dancer, and Toastmaster since 2019, born in Namibia and currently our District 86 winner in the international speech. The stage is yours, Toastmaster Nikita.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster General Evaluator. Am I audible this time? Yes? Okay, great. Well, I had the privilege of evaluating this speech, which was really aligned to me and to a theme, everything, but I felt it so aligned to me because you shared a perspective that I value, and I could relate everything to what I'm currently going through. Having moved here, being all over the place, and then finding that inner sense of connection, which did help me to be able to start to listen and attract the relationships that I need in my life right now. So thank you very much, Kenneth, for delivering a thorough but also a very engaging speech. It felt like a mini workshop. You used the what, how, and why circle, the most important questions to ask to understand purpose, perspective, scope, impact. And it was impactful. You started off with a question. At first, I wasn't very convinced, but the way you took leadership to direct others, your helpers, that created a very smooth experience for us. You gave us the question, a call, but in the meantime, you told us a story, and then you came back to those questions, to those answers, like a call and response. It kept us engaged, but it also gave depth to your presentation. It was broad, dynamic, informative, and you left us with very relevant tips and benefits, of which my favorite was an unexpected end: gratitude. I mean, I never connected the dots with focus and gratitude. So thank you for awakening this perspective or this understanding of how gratitude helps us to focus, both on inner and outer awareness. So let's talk about what you can do to challenge yourself, my dear brother, Kenneth. You can make use of our technology masters in this club, like Marianna, who puts herself so beautifully in her slide and moves and sways as the information is behind her. Get yourself on the screen, because I didn't see you. I missed you. I wanted to see you before I connected to your slide, and the beginning was there a little too long for me. I couldn't see you. You were hidden in the corner. All that energy, we cannot hide it in the corner. Last, let's talk about body language. Hands are always here the whole time. I couldn't really see your eyes or anything. But for example, when you said, when you talked about multitasking as your mind can only do one thing. Just for example, right? We don't always need our hands here. So with that said, thank you very much. And I wanted to end by giving gratitude to you for bringing such value to Leadership Speak and enriching our understanding of focus. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Nikita. Thank you, Nikita. It's really a challenge to give feedback of 20-minute speech in 3 minutes. And you have done it really meticulously with to do the appreciation as well as brilliantly did, and also giving the suggestion. And the one thing, best thing, you added the example. You gave the example how it can be done better. That's really wonderful. Now we move on to our first speaker. Our first speaker for the day was Toastmaster Muhammad Azimuddin, and will be evaluated by our highly experienced DTM RAM, who is District 86 Coach of the Year. Over to you, DTM RAM.
Mr. GE, Toastmaster Paramjit. Muhammad, what a story. What a surprise for numerous people that are sitting here. You kept a rapt attention in everything that went on. People wondering, holy, where is he going with it, make it or break it? And then the clarity, specificity, expressiveness, emotions, yes, right there. You brought it all up. Beginning till end, people were wondering, where is Muhammad going with this? Breaking it? Then the topic changed. The title changed everything, and you said, Your title was Making and Breaking It in Dealing with Lives of the Many for Lives. Many, many. A big, big surprise. An engineering project of a different kind. Finding a suitable spouse. You took matters in your own hands. Lots of back and forth negotiations with everybody, making sure. Seeking a lifetime partner is something very, very big. And I'm not too sure whether people were wondering, what is Muhammad going to say next? You kept the rapt attention from the very beginning till the very end. However, I've got some recommendations for you. Keep in mind, your audience must resonate. You should make it clear to them there is such a thing as marriage, not love marriage all the kind. He could have been Muhammad the matchmaker. I saw you as a matchmaker with a twist. That would have removed the doubt in some of us saying, really? Matchmaking? That works? Really? It's worked for thousands of years in India, in other parts as well. And you can bring some statistics there as well, stating in the Western world, these are the statistics. And in India or other parts of the world, it's this. Were there things such as you could not have agreed to all the negotiations? I'm sure your spouse would be part of this. Were there some yelling and screaming and disagreeing, all that going on? I'm sure there were, but I would have wanted to hear that. What did she object? And what were your criterion for looking for a perfect spouse that will be together for their? And the pitches could have gone up, the power in which you did it, and the pace in which you could have done that. That was an eye-opener. And a little bit of thing that I recommend is to orient about the topic a little bit more. And that would have made it much, much better. A good speaker you are, a great presenter with fluidity. And that was really, really great. Enjoy your speech. And I'd love to hear this again. Something very similar to this, because you are a great presenter. Thank you, Mohammed. And returning a lantern to our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ram. Thank you very much for your calm, clean, and supportive feedback. Evaluated point by point, encouraging and positive feedback. Thank you very much for that. I just wanted to add for Mr. Muhammad Azimuddin, you have wonderful slides. The only thing, but I feel myself as a distracted was that before you were speaking, even your answer by the helper was already there. So this was really, we could read it first before you are speaking. It's a little bit distracting. It could have been coming after, or maybe this was not at all really, if your words were also so sufficient rather than making this slide, which was always coming. And before you speak, we are already there. So if you can avoid that, that will be really helpful to you. And our second speaker was Toastmaster Marianna, who will be evaluated by Toastmaster Bindhu, who feels that one role that has helped for her fine-tune her skill is evaluation. And this is an opportunity to sharpen her focus. Over to you, Toastmaster Bindhu.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Marianna, you have showed us the art of facilitating on a topic that is so passionate for you, diet counseling. It was informative, it was entertaining, and it was appropriate. Now, if I were to give your project, rate it on a 10 out of 10, I'd give you a 9 out of 10. Yes, I can see those expressions everywhere. You must be wondering why not 10 out of 10. I'll come to that later. First of all, the speech content. It is ideally suited for a Q&A. One is the topic. It was of universal interest to everyone. I mean, diet, depression, something that is interested to everyone. Second, it is a topic you know you are the expert about. You also know that you have information that others don't, and that is going to be interesting and helpful to them. And the third, I really appreciated your statistics. Simple, relevant, easy, well displayed. That is something that people, when we are doing informative speeches, we often forget. Now coming to the meat of your presentation, the Q&A and how you facilitated the answers. You aced this section, really. There was so much I loved about it. But a few specifics. One is you spoke with very good informative answers relevant to what you have spoken in your speech. The second thing is that you knew how to connect to the speaker. That is something that when we answer questions, we often forget. You were compassionate when you spoke to Sandra. The first thing you said was you were sorry about her son. The best way to connect and to show that you are listening well. Now I'm coming to the small -1 aspect. When you have a multifaceted question, there are two ways of tackling it. One is you might want to repeat and ask what is most relevant to the speaker and address that. Or you might pick up on what you know best and address that. And as for the rest, you can say for the interest of time or to give opportunity to other speakers, I'd like to take it at another time. The second point I'd like to say is that when you are not confident about a crisp answer to a question or about the answer itself, openly admit it. There's no shame in admitting that you are not informed about that, or you may learn about it later and get back to the speaker. And the third one, I'm a little hesitant to say this, but I have to say it. When you are aware of your audience, when you know that you have a cancer specialist among your audience, sometimes using phrases like, they don't care what they give to their patients, and they tell their patients to eat whatever they want. It's very negative. I mean, it is your opinion, there's no doubt about it, but did you really have to do that? As in, you had already connected with Sandra by being compassionate. So on occasions when you're not always informed about your audience, try to avoid that sort of negative, very direct statements. And that is all for your -1. Otherwise, 10 out of 10, I learned a lot on how to facilitate a Q&A. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bindhu. Thank you very much for a detailed feedback and of a good package full of compliments and improvements and point-to-point and for point guidance, point-to-point suggestions. This is really wonderful. Only thing I can add for the Toastmaster Marianna, I've seen her. She is very good presenter. Wonderful slides she make. I think if he can add another PowerPoint clicker, it will be really not distracting to everyone, because then you move your hand, and then you speak, you move your hand and speak. If you have a clicker added to your already, maybe you might have spent a lot of money on other equipment, please add on that. That will really be helpful to you. Our third speaker, Jennifer Ghosh, will be evaluated by Toastmaster Vivian. Vivian says that since joining Leadership Speak, she has become more aware of presentation skills and evaluation skills. As a member of Leadership Speak, she is provided opportunity to evaluate speakers, which has helped her to sharpen her focus. Over to Toastmaster Vivian.
Thank you, General Evaluator, and most especially to Jennifer and your icebreaker. Jennifer, I think that we all agree that we really had an opportunity to get to know you. You had a definite opening, a full body, and a closing. As you started out, you came into us and you told us about your birth. Then you followed up by telling us a lot of information about you. Your tone your pace, your word usage, all were great as you began. A couple of things to take you may want to take under consideration. One is you may want to measure your gestures and not use them continuously as you described to us and pull us into what you're saying. It was a good job pulling us in, but just a little bit too many at one time. Next, I'd like to bring to your attention your transition. You told us about your college, you told us about your dancing, then you moved into your marriage, then you moved into the unfortunate accident of your spouse. And as you moved into them, you were getting close to time. So then you had to talk a little faster in order to get the information merged together. I would suggest to you for consideration that if you're going to transition, maybe tell us first about the dancing experience a little bit, then a little about the college, and then finally a little about the marriage in order to be able to give it the attention it needs. Great story, great content. It's just as you move toward timing, you got caught up in that timing trap and you had to talk a little faster. And I'm pretty sure you had to drop out some of the pertinent things and those nuggets that you were going to drop in there for us for such a very interesting and compelling story and introduction of your life. Also, I'd like to mention to you that as you give us the information, that you allow us just a little time to go, to breathe just a little bit, because you were giving us so much in that full body, okay? And then lastly, I'd like to challenge you and recommend to you that as you finish your speech, you've given us a lot of information, you prepared, you were present, your eye contact was here, your vocal variety was here, you had a little chuckle here, you had some seriousness there. You did a lot of work as you prepared your speech. And when you come to the conclusion of your speech, don't thank us. Please allow us to thank you for a job well done. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivian. Thank you very much for your sportive, uplifting, and positive feedback. Thank you. I really love the thing you always say before also, that don't say thank you to the speakers. We are thankful to the speakers for really entertaining and giving us education also along with the entertainment. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Vivian. And for our fourth speaker, Mary Cusin, the evaluator is TMOD, who has sponsored 4 clubs in 2 districts and is an award-winning area director. She is an author, coach, and coached more than 200 individuals. Over to you, TMOD. The stage is yours.
I hope I'm audible. Hello, am I
Yes,
audible?
you are. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So Mary, what an eye-catching way to start your speech. With the lipstick on, I didn't want to put lipstick on my cheek. So you also excelled at body language, use of props like the prescription and the compression socks, storytelling, and had a great message for the audience. You appeared thoroughly at ease on the virtual stage. And we, as members of audience, particularly as your evaluator, I loved it. What actually caught my eye was, what is Toastmaster Mary driving it, you know, with that lipstick and this thing? I was like, okay, maybe she's trying to probably deliver a personal speech. She might go into history of her illness and all that. And I was actually bracing myself for that. Okay, now she's going to say how she developed that. But you completely changed the path, and you said that you are a secretary and you encounter so many different patients. So you had a lot of opportunity to actually display the vocal variety, the excellent vocal variety that you have. Now, to enhance your speech, what you could work on, in my opinion, you may want to work on the enunciation of certain words. There is a word which sounded like trampoline or something. I really could not catch it. The second thing probably I would allow you to work on is focusing more on the conclusion. It was a great speech, but then you have a wonderful movie. Suddenly, when it comes to an end, you say, I want more. I want more. So that's the feeling you left me with. I was like, such a wonderful message. Could you please consider speaking a few more lines about the conclusion and also probably add a call to action for us, the members of the audience? And the last suggestion is consider changing your virtual background, because for me, it was interfering with the visibility of your props. For example, when you were showing the medical prescriptions, etc., right? It was not, I was actually trying to concentrate. What are you trying to show? The virtual background was coming in between. So what you could do to challenge yourself? Now that's a good question. This is a great speech, excellent message, wonderful storytelling, and usage of props also. What else you could challenge yourself with? In my opinion, you could challenge yourself by trying to draw out responses from the audience. Maybe ask some questions or ask, raise your hands if you face this issue. Raise your hands if you had this, the leg issue, the compression socks. Raise your hands if you had those, the swollen cheek and all that teeth issue. So probably you could try to draw out responses from the audience. And that's it. I have nothing more to say. A wonderful speech. It was like a perfect chocolate wrapped in the perfect looking, attractive wrapper. And you had an eye-catching prop, which was yourself, your own body part. Now that's really unusual. So from the beginning till the end, you had us glued onto the stage, glued onto the virtual stage. You had all of our attention. So Toastmaster Mary, way to go. All the best for your next speech. Thank you. And over to the General Evaluator.
Thanks, TMOD, for the detailed feedback. I think which will add a lot of value to Toastmaster Mary to focus, sharpen her focus, and will do more speeches with more acuity. Thank you very much, TMOD. Our last speaker for the day was Banerjee, and her evaluator is Toastmaster Mrinal, who is working as a market access manager, Toastmaster since last 2 years, and is president of Globetrotters Toastmaster Club. Over to you, Toastmaster Mrinal.
Thank you so much. At the end of the day, we all are storytellers, but onus on us how good we are. Good day, everyone, and especially thanks to Banasree for sharing your transformation journey as an intellectual acuity. What a great humorous speech that was. You use 4 anecdotes in your speech. That's the beauty of bring humor. What are these components? 5 days back, 5 a.m. in the morning, but you are unable to. 5 hours back, and at the end of the day, you are talking about 5 days, maybe or perhaps. So great way to interact with the audience, to connect with your message. Second, connecting statement was amazing. I can find the connecting statement, your movie duration of time, because whatever story you are saying today, that's related to your topic on. And third, the closing message. You are talking about detailed, impactful PPT. You can share with us on work, how to work on time. So that will be shared. If your hard days is okay, maybe within 5 days or perhaps. Second thing, you are excellent on Zoom presence. Your facial expression, which we all know that contributes more percentage as a good speaker. So that attributes you showing amazing. Now, to becoming an effective speaker, I recommend only one point. You can work on that, becoming a better version of yourself. Pauses. I'm talking about pauses. So as per the data published by Palmet Central LLMB, a normal storyteller speeches duration should have pauses of 0.75 seconds to 4.8 seconds. And for the storyteller, normal pauses are there for 0.94 seconds. And here is you just focus on that improvement part. Why I'm telling? Because throughout your speech, your duration was there 0.20 second to 0.30 on an average that I observed throughout your presentations. And you need to improve that gap 0.2 to 1, 0.94 to 1. So that's the one improvement area. You can work on that. Even I also analyze that your 15 minutes back, or whenever you are just sharing one liner to another liner, you just uses the highest pauses, that is also 0.35 seconds, and that should be more than 2 seconds. So this is the thing you could improvement. So as an overall, you are a very good storyteller, amazing sense of humor in your speech, great presence of Zoom presence. Only one thing, you could improve your pauses to becoming better version of yourself, and you can rock on the stage. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Minal. Thank you for your wonderful feedback with your own big smile as well as with energy, and giving very minute technically details for the improvement in the speeches for Toastmaster Banerjee. Thank you very much for your wonderful feedback. Now, may I request the timer Hannah to share the timings in chat, and Sajjana Dam to launch the polls.
The times are in the chat.
Is that? So to move further, we'll now hear from our grammarian Toastmaster Aswathi Rajan, who has been listening with focus for good use of language as well as points for improvement. The stage is yours, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. First of all, let me congratulate all the speakers. A big round of applause for all of you, because I really had a very tough time today. There were so many beautiful words used by our speakers. I am sure I would have missed many of them, but here are few words which I thought that the way they were used was really beautiful. So these are some of the good usages which I liked in the speeches today. TMOD Ejura, she used this word beautifully, imbibe the values and embrace. Both of these words are so beautiful, and the usage, the way she used in her speech was fantastic. And a very beautiful quote by Leah, who raised the toast today: your focus determines your reality. And I felt that is the beautiful thought to share for raising a toast. And Kenneth, your presentation had so many beautiful words, but these are the two things which I loved: deeper and meaningful connections. Such a beautiful word, and thought, and contemplate. Those words were, I really love the usage. Muhammad Azimuddin, the way he used anomaly, and one word, one upping, which is not very commonly used, but he used and he gave that as a point to remember. So it was very well done. And again, Marianna, Burka, you said diet is what you do every time. So it is a thought which we all should remember always. So thanks for giving that. Again, a beautiful quote by Jennifer: a small body of determined spirits fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission can alter the course of history, by Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. So that was really beautiful. And many other words you can see in my report. So thank you so much. And I would also like to mention the word of the day usage. Many speakers use the word of the day. You can see on the screen, DTM Brahm, DTM Rosie, Mrinal, Jennifer, Ejura, Banasree, Paramjit. So thank you so much for using. And I encourage others also to use this word. And these are some of the suggestions which I noted during the meeting. There was a sentence, how would you personally define? So I think the better usage can be, how would you describe that particular thing? Personal intuition. Intuition is always personal. So you can simply say intuition. How you communicate, how have you communicated? So purpose of a leadership, it is their purpose of leadership is not required. We use $1 trillion, or we spend $1 trillion. We spent or spend. And another thing which I felt was PPT, which is of course an acronym. You could have said PowerPoint slides or presentation. So this is a small crisp report from my side. But before ending, I would like to congratulate Marie for doing a commendable job, because I know her first language is not English, but today she was awesome. So congratulations, Marie, for that. This is all from my side. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmasters Fateh, for a very detailed report, touching every point, how many people spoke, what is a good language, and how to improve on. Thank you for your detailed report. I think the active listening is your favorite subject, I feel so. And hope this we will be certainly again entertain us and give us more information about as a grammarian. So today for the detailed report, I know the Air Arabia. It is a flight from Sharjah. When they say it is 9:10, means 9:10 they are on board. This is the hallmark of all leadership. This is the hallmark of all leadership speak meetings. Every time we are in the air by that time. Thank you for wonderful opening with Sergeant Arm, Toastmaster Sandra. She was very meticulous and very, doing it everything time, as well as doing highlighting everyone on time. I think that was really, I think she had practiced a lot yesterday, and that's why she could really make it really brilliantly done, this job. And timer TM Hana, I will say that there's one thing we call a split second. A split second means a horn before the switching of the next green light. The people behind you, and that split second, you are master in that. Before even I asked, or even Ejura asked, the timer report was there. I think that is really wonderful. Thank you for wonderful support. Of course, Toastmaster Leah, toast done by Toastmaster Leah. That was, a great script. Very dull, very well done, with already sharpened focus. Thank you for your wonderful toast. Of course, grammarian Toastmasters Fateh are already spoken about, and that was really a very detailed report by her. And for the Toastmaster of the day, Ejura. Toastmaster Ejura, a job well done, well planned. I think you put a lot of effort behind the scene, and presented in a very flawlessly, with a very sharpened focus. And your white smile kept everyone engaged, as well as everyone engaged and really tuned in. And the way you have presented the first time in Leadership Speak, as I'm first time general evaluator, I think that was really brilliantly, very well done. And hope to see more from you in the next meetings. I think I conclude my speech for this and general evaluation segment. So let's welcome back our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Ejura.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Paramjit, for that awesome and detailed evaluation. Very well done. Thank you for the comments and the feedback. I appreciate it so much. So we will be looking at the awards now and see who our winners are for the best speakers, the best speaker and the best effort speaker and best effort evaluator. And can we have that on the screen? Do we have our awards? Best speaker, we have Toastmaster Kenneth Kajjora. Yay! Congratulations, Toastmaster Kenneth. Congratulations, very well done to you. That was very detailed. And of course, like I said, we had a tie. So Toastmaster Banasree, well done. Best effort speaker, congratulations. Congratulations. And then we move on to our best evaluator, Bindhu Joseph. Bindhu Joseph, of course. Very well done to you, ma'am. Very well done to you. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me as a Toastmaster of the day. I enjoyed every minute of it. This is my first time doing this. It's quite different from what I'm used to, but I'm glad I got all the support I needed. Thank you for staying focused till the very end of this meeting. And let's all take on the hints and the tips for sharpening our focus, and we take our personal responsibility for our focus and our productivity. I'll now hand the lectern back to the President, Ram Mamon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. That was just an amazing meeting. I mean, what a wonderful way to sort of start off with focus. And what we had Kenneth Kajjora do his very first 20-minute speech ever, and he's the youngest member in the club. Very well done. This is just an amazing club. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me check my time. It is 11:49, I believe, in my clock, and we were supposed to adjourn at 11:51. So I have 3 minutes to talk to the guests, ladies and gentlemen. Dear guests, please do not leave the meeting, and let me just have a quick word with you. And the very first guest that I see on my screen is Stephen Raj Peria. Hi, Stephen. How are you?
You want me to stop the recording yet?
No, until the adjournment.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
A very good evening here.
Good to see
you. Thank you very much. I was given this invitation, and thank you very much. It came to me through distinguished Toastmaster Manju Manohar, and to be very frank, this meeting which I attended, highest number of participants, a lot of interactions, and it is in the next level. Thank you very much for allowing me to be here and listening to so many new things and good things, a lot of learning experience, a time well spent. That is how I would describe this meeting, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. You've indicated on our guest book that you are interested in being a member.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful. Is Loveline here? Hello, Loveline. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much, fellow Toastmasters and fellow guests. My name is Loveline, and this is my third time to attend Leadership Speak. And the first time I was invited by Toastmaster Sandra Volks. I'm sure she's still online. I keep coming back because of the quality of speeches that I listen to right here, and the way the Toastmasters speak, because this is what I'm looking forward to learning. I was blown away by all of them, all the speeches, but more especially about focus, because I'm struggling with focus at the moment because of the heavy load of things that I have to do, both in my private life and in my job and in my public life. So that first speech by Toastmaster Kenneth is what is really, it really puts me in a different space of thinking. And I said to myself, we belong to the same Toastmaster club, myself and Kenneth. And as he spoke, I was making notes in my notepad. but unfortunately the slides kept on moving so fast. So I'm assuming that I'll get in touch with him to make sure that he shares the knowledge, but it was deeply, deeply researched, and it really, I think I'm going to use it and apply it to what I'm really struggling with, which is focus. The rest of the storytelling was really good. I enjoyed them, and I think I'm going to emulate the same thing when I get to these levels of speaking, because I'm still an amateur at the moment, learning. That's why I keep coming, and I will not stop coming because I want to reach your level of where all of you are, and apply what I'm learning in my own way of speaking and my life as a future leader. Back
Wonderful.
to you, Toastmaster.
You've indicated that you want to be a member of this club on the guest book, I can see.
That's correct. I keep saying the same thing each time I visit. Yes, I'd like to be a member, so I'll keep coming.
This time I'll be in touch with you, and we'll have a chat after that. I'll be in touch with you. Thank you for being persistent coming. Thank you, Loveline.
Thanks.
We have, of course, now I'm going to perhaps mispronounce this, but is it Xiang Amanda? Hello, anyone with the last name Amanda? Okay, while we are looking for her, she's looking for her mic. Kike, is Kike here? All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I will adjourn this meeting. We are right on time, perhaps just a minute off. So with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Sandra, for your service.